We have already dissected the Lakers' play this year at the beginning of the season and before the All-Star break. So if you want to take a look at those video links, will be in the description below. But now with the Lakers season over, we break down the Lakers' performances after the All-Star break and discuss how the team has grown and how this team will prepare for the future. And 10 things learned from the Lakers at season end and the 2016-2017 season. Let's take a look at how the starting lineup has changed since the Lakers opening night. On opening night, the Lakers starting lineup was D'Angelo Russell, Nick Young, Luol Deng, Julius Randle, and Timothy Mozgov. Towards the end of the season, Coach Luke Walton experimented with different lineups to develop their young core. One of the more notable changes was inserting David Nwaba, an undrafted free agent product of the Los Angeles D-League team, the Defenders, was inserted into the starting lineup at shooting guard against the 76ers in replace of Nick Young. And also in a game versus the Denver Nuggets, as D'Angelo Russell came off the bench. Jordan Clarkson also saw his role increase with multiple starts down the stretch of games, starting at point guard versus the 76ers. The promising second-round center, Zubac, also made his first start versus the 76ers and started to thrive in this starting role. But while these starting lineup changes haven't led to much team success, we do see results in players' individual performances, including career-high performances from Zubac, Jordan Clarkson, Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram, and D'Angelo Russell. Speaking of D'Angelo Russell and individual performances, that's our second evaluation at season end. Since the All-Star break, D'Angelo Russell has shown us some good moments and some bad moments. First, let's take a look at the good moments. D'Angelo Russell has 3 notable good games after the All-Star break. A 29.6 assist game versus Russell Westbrook in OKC, 46% from the field and shot 3 from 12 from 3. D'Angelo would have a better shooting performance in our second notable game versus Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns, for which he recorded 28 points, 4 assists, and 3 steals, shooting 50% from the field and 6 of 9 from 3. Most importantly, the win. The last notable game D'Angelo Russell would have after the All-Star break in 2017 would be the best of his career, a 40.6 assist game against the defending champion Cleveland Cavaliers, for which D'Angelo would start at shooting guard for the first time all season, shooting 63% from the field and nailed 7 of his 12 three-point attempts. While he has had some good moments, D'Angelo has also had a lot of poor moments, notably his defense and streaky shooting. D'Angelo Russell has a stretch of games where he simply underperformed, starting with the March 12th game against the 76ers, which he only scored 11 points on 29% shooting from the field. Following that game, he would be moved to the bench against the Denver Nuggets, but D'Angelo would still play 28 minutes off the bench and put up another poor performance of 10 points and 4 of 14 from the field. His next game off the bench would be even worse, as he would have a 5.7 turnover game where he shot 20% from the field against the Rockets, as the Lakers would get blown out by 39 points. While we have seen Russell's scoring numbers increase from the beginning of the season with an average of 16 points per game in the month of December to 18 points per game in the month of March, his assists per game have gone down. When Russell received his first start at shooting guard, he achieved a new career high. This offseason, we want to see Russell work more at the shooting guard position, for which he was successful in a small sample size. D'Angelo Russell has also had a special moment towards the end of the season, with a game winner over the Timberwolves. He failed converting 2 game winners earlier this season. This is a promising sign that he still has that ice water in his veins. From one second overall pick to another, Brandon Ingram is our next evaluation at season end. As predicted, Brandon Ingram started the season on the bench, but by mid-season, he was starting instead of Luol Deng. This season has been a learning process for Brandon Ingram coming from college to the NBA, as he is still developing when and where he will get his shots in the NBA. While Ingram has led the Lakers in minutes played this season with averages of 29.3 minutes per game, Ingram started out the season pretty slow, averaging only 7 points per game on just 34% from the field and 30% from three in the month of December. As the season went on, Ingram began to find his groove, showing his talent by making extraordinary plays at the rim and increasing his scoring and shooting percentage per game from 7 points, 2 assists, and 4 rebounds per game in December to 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists in March, while shooting 51% from the field and 30% from three. In total, Ingram would record 2 20-point games during his rookie season, with a career high of 22 points versus the San Antonio Spurs, also recording 13 games with 15 points or more. While we have seen improvements in Ingram's game, it hasn't been without struggles during the season. One of Ingram's biggest issues is consistency. We have seen games where Ingram is really aggressive, drawing fouls, hitting shots. Then we see games where he simply disappears because he isn't shooting well. And in his rookie season, this happened quite often. While we have seen Ingram improve on his shooting as the season progressed, his three-point shooting is something he can really improve on in this offseason, as well as his free throw shooting, as he is shooting 61% from the free throw line and 29% from three. Speaking of threes, we get a lot of those from the Lakers' designated six-man, Jordan Clarkson. Especially since the Lou Williams trade towards the end of the season, Jordan Clarkson's role has often changed to starting in place of D'Angelo Russell or starting at shooting guard. After the All-Star break, Clarkson has arguably played his best basketball of the season, averaging close to 20 points per game in the month of April, with a career high of 35 points in a win over the Timberwolves. In all total, Clarkson is averaging 14 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds per game, while shooting 44% from the field and 32% from three, compared to 15 points per game last season, but worse field goal percentage at 43%. While you do see a slight drop in his numbers, this can be contributed to D'Angelo Russell taking a larger role in the offense, and Nick Young starting at shooting guard for a majority of the season. Clarkson started 79 games last season, compared to starting 17 games this season. Even with that difference in role, Clarkson is still able to put up a career-high scoring mark. It hasn't been all rosy for Jordan Clarkson either, as his shooting consistency and defense has been some of his glaring weaknesses this season. Clarkson has had 12 games shooting less than 25% from the floor. With Clarkson normally a volume shooter, this can often lead to no ball movement. Next season, we may still see Jordan Clarkson be the Lakers' designated six-man, but improving his defense and consistency this offseason will make him an even more valuable asset for the Lakers over the next couple of years. Julius Randle has seen the most improvement out of all the Lakers' young players. And technically, Randle's third year as a pro, he has had a career year. A career-high scoring mark with 32 points and 8 rebounds in a blowout loss to the Rockets. And at times, Randle can be a rebounding machine with multiple games with over 15 rebounds or more. On total, Randle has 23 games with 10 rebounds or more, and picked up the first 3 triple-doubles of his career this season. While he has had some career-high moments this season, he has also had a lot of low moments as well. Randle's main weaknesses coming into the season included his turnovers, consistency, defense, and shooting. During the season, these weaknesses have shown up various times throughout the season. Randle has 9 games with 5 turnovers or more. While he hasn't shot many threes, he is shooting 27% from 3, which isn't great, and his consistency on defense can be lacking at times. But with all that said, Randle has still been the Lakers' most consistent big man this season when he is staying aggressive. Last year, Randle averaged 11 points and 10 rebounds at season end. This season, Randle is averaging 13 points and 8 rebounds, while shooting better from the field at 48% compared to 42% last season. This is a great sign for Randle's development, seeing him record triple-doubles and shooting better from the field. This offseason, we look to see Randle improve even more and become a 15 and 10 rebounding machine for the Lakers. While the Lakers have made some improvements on offense, their defense has still been a real issue throughout the season, as they rank dead last in defensive efficiency rating, the same as last year. The Lakers' youth and inexperience from players like Brandon Ingram and D'Angelo Russell have definitely contributed to this ranking. But in all, the Lakers' defense has been pretty horrible, committing silly fouls and easy looks for their opponent. In order to be considered a top team in this league, the Lakers must improve on their defense, or they will find themselves trying to run and gun teams to win games. New additions and promising young talent. Besides Ingram and D'Angelo Russell, there is plenty of young talent on this year's Lakers team. The Lakers have used their D-League team to groom young players like Zubac, who spent a lot of time in between starting for the Lakers and their D-League team during the season. He has provided Laker fans a ton of hope for the future with great numbers when he gets a chance to produce. A lot of what Zubac can do was shown off in his career-high performance versus the Denver Nuggets, as he finished with 25 points and 11 rebounds while shooting 12 of 15 from the field. As Zubac started to receive more starts down the stretch of games, he suffered a high ankle sprain in the team's loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves, ending his season. It will be interesting to see how the Lakers use Zubac next season, with the team previously signing Mozgov to a huge deal. Another D-League player that made a name for himself this season was David Nwaba, an undrafted free agent from Santa Monica College and Cal Poly. Created a lot of buzz for himself in the D-League by slamming down ferocious dunks, playing great defense, and averaging 14 points per game. Nwaba received a 10-day contract from the Lakers, making his first appearance on February 28th against the Charlotte Hornets. Since then, Nwaba has signed a 2-year deal with the Lakers, mostly due to his great perimeter defense and smart plays at the rim, recording a career high of 19 points versus the Clippers. Nwaba has given the Lakers a lot of flexibility with their backcourt. While Nwaba has seen some good performances, we have to see him in a full season before we can determine how much of an impact he makes on the team both offensively and defensively. Lastly, we look at the player the Lakers acquired from Houston, Tyler Ennis, the 18th pick by the Phoenix Suns. Down the stretch, the Syracuse product got a chance to showcase his skills way more than he got to in Houston. While his play was rather up and down throughout the last stretch of games, he did achieve a new career high of 20 points versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. With Ennis a free agent after the season, we might see the Lakers let Ennis walk during this offseason. Speaking of roster moves, let's take a look at the cuts the Lakers might make during this offseason. Metta World Peace, Tyler Ennis, and Thomas Robinson are on expiring contracts. Peace, or Ron Artest for instance, averages 5 points per game, shoots 31% from the field, and while he is known for his defensive ability, at the age of 37, he has lost much of his quickness. Players like Tyler Ennis and Thomas Robinson, who are younger, could serve as decent backups at most, if not cut. While these are definite cuts that the Lakers will most likely make, the fate is still undecided for players like Luol Deng, Mozgov, Corey Brewer, and Nick Young. First, let's start with Luol Deng, who just signed a 4-year, $72 million contract in this past offseason. Deng would start the first 43 games at small forward, picking up a stat line of 7 points and 5 rebounds per game, with his season high being a 22-point outing versus the New York Knicks. A wrist injury in early January and the emergence of Brandon Ingram as the Lakers' small forward of the future has taken a dip into his career numbers, as Deng has served as nothing more than a backup for Ingram and may continue to be that way for the rest of his contract. Next, we go to Mozgov, who the Lakers signed with a 4-year, $64 million deal. On the season, Mozgov averaged 7 points and 4 rebounds per game, with his season high of 20 versus the Brooklyn Nets. But with Zubac's strong performance throughout the end of the season, don't be surprised if Zubac starts at the center position next season. Deng and Mozgov have underperformed this season to say the least, and the Lakers front office agrees with this message, as towards the end of the season, the Lakers shut down both Deng and Mozgov for the remainder of the season to develop their young players. Deng hasn't played since February 27th, in addition to missing the final 15 games of the season. With the Lakers paying almost $10 million yearly for Deng's services, look for the Lakers to try to find ways to unload his contract and Mozgov's during this offseason. Nick Young and Corey Brewer are on the last year of their contracts. With Nick Young on a player option next season, we shouldn't be surprised to see Corey Brewer or Nick Young not in a Lakers uniform next season. Speaking of stories, one of the biggest stories after the All-Star break for the Lakers was whether or not the Lakers would keep their draft pick this year. The Lakers finished the season with the third worst record in the league at 26-56 and a 46% chance to secure a top 3 pick in the 2017 draft. If not, their pick will go to the 76ers. While there are tons of great talent in this year's draft, the most interesting prospect for the Lakers was without a doubt the UCLA product Lonzo Ball, who showed lots of skills with his passing and athleticism. D'Angelo Russell has been up and down as a point guard in his first 2 seasons, but when he moved to shooting guard, he achieved a new career high. If the Lakers choose to go elsewhere with this pick, Markelle Fultz, Jason Tatum, and Josh Jackson are all reasonable options that will improve this Lakers team both offensively and defensively. The Lakers also have a late first-round pick from the Rockets trade that they can use, but the Lakers won't know their fate until May 16th when the draft lottery is conducted. During the preseason, I predicted the Lakers to win 35 games, and the Lakers started pretty well, starting the season 10-10, with wins over the Warriors and Rockets. But as the season went on, injuries derailed much of the success the Lakers had going early in the season, and the Lakers would end up going on an 8-game losing streak in December and a 6-game losing streak in March. While the Lakers did finish the season with the third worst record in the league, they did improve from their poor season last year, with a 5-game winning streak at the end of the season. Regardless of whether the Lakers keep their pick this year or not, their goal next season should be to reach the 30-win mark. But how do you feel about the Lakers this season? Leave it in the comment section below, but until then, it's been your boy, Johnny Walker LA, and I'm out. Bow.